great habit of listening to Vedanta every day, friends, will give us good information, knowledge, inspiration, and great texts. Through those texts, the Mahatmas, while indicating to us the goal and means, will help us also in observing ourselves. Where do we go wrong in our thinkings, in our behaviors, in our activities, etc. Thus, it becomes a beautiful protecting guidance, Vedanta. May we all be basking under that guidance of Shruti, Shastras, Guru, and this Tattva Jnana. May the Lord be with us always. We are studying the most sublime Yoga Vaashishtha Maharamayana Shastram, third Utpatthi Prakaranam Leelopakhyanam, Jagat Brahma Varnanam. Finally, this Jagat has to be realized as Brahman. Brahman transcendental, Brahman immanent, Para and Avara. Tasmin Drushte Paravare. So these all Siddhanta informations through Vicharana should be understood. This is what is said, this is what is said. And through again Bahya Abhyantara sadhanas, that state we have to realize. Always in the seen pots there is mud. We have to realize. For our sake, the mud is not brought and pot is not rejected. Pot is rejected in its own absence. Mud is eternally present in its presence. So too, Jagat is rejected in its own absence because it cannot independently stay. And Brahman is established in his own pure being presence, being Sat. That we have to realize in us. May those higher, deeper states of understanding, sadhanas, anubhutis happen to us. Let us start with our earlier initial prayers. Continue from where we left yesterday. Om, Om, Om. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मभक्तियोगधर्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ॐ यैर्मे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः सच्चास्त्राः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् ॐ श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तभक्तियोगधर्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे श्री वशिष्ठ विश्वामित्र वाल्मीकि वेदव्यास वामदेव नारदादि समस्त ब्रह्म विद्या योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्राणाम आचार्येभ्यो नमः संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुति स्मृति पुराणेतिहास संतवाङ्मयोक्त साध्य साधनानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्त ऋषिमुनि गुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रह अनुभव प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थं धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिव कृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनर्वाप्ति तेषु निरन्तरशास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातनधर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यन्तरशत्रुविघ्नशाश्वत समूलनिर्मूलनपूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्षपुरुषार्थानां सुसम्प्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां संकल्पित सनातन धर्म संस्थापना सत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयार्थं तेषां हृदये परब्रह्म भगवद्देवता गुरुशास्त्र सत्संग साधना सेवा माता पितृदेश धर्म सनातन धर्म भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थम् अनेक शास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्री राम वशिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण स्मृति मोक्ष प्रकरण शास्त्रस्य पारायणम् अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः ओम यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शन दृश्यभूः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभो यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदम् ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहं तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्रीगुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरपि कलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये ॐ श्रीरामचन्द्र परब्रह्मणे नमः श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीय उत्पत्ति प्रकरणम लीलोपाख्याने जगत ब्रह्म वर्णनं नाम चतुश्चत्वारिंशः सर्गः. So what is said is Jagrat Swapna taken up for discussion. Said the two things, the Swapna is Badhita, Jagrat is Nashita. In either case, both are destroyed. Then substratum Brahman alone always is there. Same way, Jagrat is not there in Swapna, Swapna is not there in Jagrat. Mutually exclusive. That also proves they being not permanent, therefore coming and going, therefore that which comes, stays, goes, is not real. What is real? Which is always there, therefore no need to come, nowhere to go. That Adhisthana Brahman is there. In these two ways it is proved. Therefore, the Jagat is beautifully what is it is, because perceived it is there. But apart from substratum independently, it is not there. Therefore, when you say it is there, you have to say it is not there. When it is not there, but you are experiencing it, you have to say. Therefore, Nishchaya Purvakena, you cannot say it is there or not there. Both of them, so there and not there, that you can't say, because one thing simultaneously cannot be existing, non-existing. That anirvachaniyatva of this Jagat. Yet, Adhisthana Brahman is always there, Satya. This Adhisthana Brahma realized, then that Brahman alone is the entire Jagat. There is nothing called as Jagat. Called as Jagat. We are only calling it. We are only seeing it. But what is there is always Brahman. So Dvayamevaitad Athava Brahma Tatraiva Sambhavat. Neither that Dvayam, that Sat and Asat, that also cannot be said. But Brahma Tatra Eva Sambhavat. The Adhisthana Brahma is always there. Then the beautiful thoughts. Yatha Akashe, in the Akasha, Paramanu Antaha, in a micro Paramanu, Dravyadehe, in any of the Dravya, Anuke Picha, which is micro than the micro. Jiva Anuhu Yatra Tatra, wherever the pure consciousness expresses Jiva, Idam Jagat Vetti Nijam Vapuhu. Then it immediately takes up this Jagat as, the part of the Jagat as Upadhi, and then the other as other than it. Agniraushnyam yathaveti nijabhava kramoditam. So the Agni by its own nijabhavana kramena aushnyam veti. It finds itself to be heat. Pashyati idam tatha eva atma. So atma bhutam vishuddhachit. So vishuddhachit atma. The pure conscious self. In its own Maya Shakti, wherever, whenever it one wants, idam pashyati swa atmamutam, it's the jagat, be attentive. From itself only it makes appear, and to that Atman, the jagat is not other than itself. When you realize Atman, we also know that there is nothing called as anything in this jagat other than me. So therefore, the question of Prabuddha Leela, कि how come there also the various mantris and sainikas, same appearing here. I, the Leela, and in front of me another Leela. How is it? This is how it is. You are asking about the other Leela and this mantris, sainya here, there. I am telling you about yourself and your sainya also. I am telling about entire creation that is present in front of you. I am telling about all in the past. The creation appeared and disappeared. In future also, whatever appears and disappears, all of that put together I am explaining to you. That the Sada Sarvavyapaka Chit Paramatma, anywhere in it, anything can express you. That is its potency, the Maya Shakti. It can be of variety, it can be of sameness, similarity. You need not feel any surprise there. If at all you have to feel surprised, don't feel surprised seeing another Leela like you. Feel surprised how you yourself are there. Then, when you can be there, then the other Leela can also be there. So, too, when those Rajas, Mantris and Sainyas are there, these Mantri Sainya also are there. When that Brahmanda is there, this Brahmanda also is there. Okay, in and through all that, one thing to be remembered is in this way, any number of similar, dissimilar Brahmandas and the Jivas with Upadhis are seen any number, any time. Know that they are all Mithya and the reality is Brahman only. They are not Asatya also because you are experiencing them. They are not Asatya for another reason because there is substratum behind the Brahman. But as Nama Rupa independently, it is not Satya. And it is not a sentimental, emotional thing told you for you to understand or accept, for you to accept. No, it's not uh, you are forced to do. It is you are awakened in intellect to understand. Can there be a form pot without mud? Tell me, that is what is said. Can there be a name pot without mud? Name and form are what you call non existing, independently non existing entities. They have to depend on something, existence, the something which is existing. In the case of pot and ornaments, it is gold and mud, mud and gold. In the case of the entire universe, including that pot and the mud and gold also, is the Brahman. So simple is Brahman formed, Brahman named is Jagat. Jagat is not really there. That vision we have to develop. Therefore, whatever I am seeing with my upadhis, the seeing me, the upadhis that are used, the seen world, all of that is with Maya Shakti, the Brahman only seen. Wow, see this? If this is clicking to us, then discarding all these things seen by the upadhis and the seer. When these three are discarded, what remains is Brahman. That's called meditation. That's called realization. That's what is to be achieved. Do it, isn't it? Generally, we still are busy with this Jnata, Jnanam, Gnayam, Samsara. That's why the Adhisthana of these three, we are not able to realize. This is what was said in today's Mandukya Upanishad by the Guru. Very clearly he says, Abhuta Abhiniveshosti Dvayam Tatra na Vidyate. It's only the Abhinivesha that one habitually living the life of Triputi of Drashta, Darshana, Drishya. Therefore, the Adhisthana they are not able to know. When they know the Adhisthana, this Drashta, Darshana, Drishya will be found to be Mithya. They are not realizing Adhisthana. Therefore, gaining the satta from Adhisthana only, these three are appearing to be Sat, which is not real. Because they are appearing to be are taken as Sat by us, that we are bound in it. So it's a totally related, complementary. Don't know the Adhisthana, the Sadvastu, these are taken as real. Taking these as real, when we involve only in them, the Adhisthana cannot be known. So when the problem is of both types, solution also should be both types. So I am involving in the Triputi, not able to realize Brahman. I am not trying to realize Brahman, therefore got lost in the Triputi samsara. Triputi means drashta, darshana, drishya. Reverse भी वही करना है. Slowly devalue drashta, darshana, drishya, samsara. To that extent, you will be able to comprehend, apprehend reality. To the extent through the study of Shastras and contemplation, you are able to near to the understanding of reality. To that extent, these Triputi are found to be unreal. Finally, as it is now that the Jagat is real, Brahman is not there, at that stage, Brahman alone is there, these three are not there. See, didn't we see that in Vakyavrutti, the last sloka? Dehatmadhivat Brahmatmadhidhardye Krutakrutyata. We studied 10 12 days back. That will happen. So here we are coming to that point. Pashyati idam tatha eva atma. So atma bhutam vishuddhachit. The pure vishuddhachit atma only, in it only, it is seeing this named formed world itself only in that form. Gold only seeing itself in the form of ornament. Gold only seeing itself in the form of ornament. Gold has not become ornament, nor the gold has lost its goldness. Brahman has never become the Jagat, nor the Brahman disappeared to exist. It's all Leela. Like the wood has never become the chair, the wood has never disappeared. Chair Rupena would only appearing for the sake of Vyavahara called as sitting. That way. Now comes the beautiful thoughts. Yatha Suryodaye Gehe Brahmanti Trasare Navaha. Gehe in the house. Yatha Suryodaye. When the sun rises and the light comes inside through windows, doors, in that Teja Punja, Kanti Punja of the light, don't we say the Trasarenus? the small dust particles suspended in that light. Tatha, in the same way, Paramakashe, in that supreme Akasha, in that Chida Akasha, in that all pervading Chit Swarupam Brahman, Ime Brahmanda Trasarenavaha. These Ananta Koti Brahmandas, like the Trasarenus, are hanging in that pure consciousness. Little difference in the example and the things that is Surya Kanti coming from Surya, the dust particles are here illuminated. But in case of Paramatma, all pervading Paramatma, here and there, because of his Shakti, the Brahmanda Trasarenus are appearing, disappearing. Between the appearance and disappearance, so much of Natak Leela going on. See that when there is absolute curfew, for whatever the reason, whole city, though having hundreds and thousands of shops, they are not open even during the daytime because it's a curfew time. Absolutely band. But the same city, when there is no curfew, how it becomes active in the morning by 7:38 up to 10:39, 9:30, 10 night. You know, the presence and absence we are talking about. And if it is a festival season, even रात को 12-1 बजे तक भी दुकानें खुलते हैं सुबह 6 बजे से. Example. In the same way, in Paramatma, infinite, anywhere, the Maya Shakti can function to express as or appear as these Brahmandas with all its contents. When we talk about at the level of Brahmanda, one Brahmanda, 14 Bhavanas, and 14 Lokas, the Urdhva Loka, Saptakam, Adho Loka. In all of them, the various beings. On the Bhumi, the four types of life. Svedaja, Andaja, Jaraija, Udvija. In the other Brahmandas, the beings are there in different forms. The Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Siddha, Charana, Gandharva, Devatas, Naga. They're all different expressions. All put together. These jivas with their upadhis, their activities. Okay? And the resources that are there around. Like a painter, when he wants to paint a scenery, he just paints it. If it is a village with farming one side, river another side, is he not painting each one in that color? Finally, brings out that masterpiece and shows us all that is painted on that paper or drawing sheet only. So, too on the paper drawing sheet of the Brahman, the painter, the Paramatma, with the various paints, expression of his own Maya Shakti, the Shaktis, painting this world. ये कौन चित्रकार है कौन चित्रकार बस. Think. यथा सूर्योदये गेहे भ्रमन्ति त्रसरेणवः. Okay. तथा इमे ब्रह्मांड त्रसरेणवः परमाकाशे. Understood? Then another example. Yatha, beautiful two examples, 2, 3. Yatha vayo sthitah spandah and amoda. Like in the vayu, the vibration movement as well as the fragrance. They are not separate from the vayu. Vayu itself appearing like that. In the same way, shunyam ambare, like the emptiness in the space. Space and emptiness are not two. Spandana, amoda and vayu are not two. So too, the above said, Paramakashe Brahmanda Trasarenavasaha, not two. One Brahman, transcendental, same Brahman, immanent. When you see a lump of clay here, big, here see 7, 8 pots. They so appear to be distinct, but to a gross drishti, for a subtle drishti, they are not two. The mud alone manifested our appearing as pots. Within the pots, the mud alone there. Any moment, the potness can go away, mud can remain. So too, in this mud, anytime the pot form shape can be given. In either case, the pot comes and goes, The mud is intact. That's Brahman. Finally, to be realized is there are not two things called the mud and pot. So too, there are no two things called as Brahman and Jagat. Brahman alone appears as Jagat, remains as Brahman. Water alone appears as wave, remains as water. For differentiation and various purposes sake, a name is given, that's it. Why appearance? Appearance is a leela, the expression of Shakti. जैसे आपके पास शक्ति है तो आप एक्सप्रेस करते हो खुशी के लिए. हर बार आपको जवाब देने की जरूरत नहीं. If somebody asks, अरे मेरी शक्ति है, I do it. I have money, I am giving charity. Who are you to ask? Everything I need an answer. So to भगवान need not answer for our question की क्यों बनाया इस जगत को, है ना. दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई, काहे को दुनिया बनाई. यू go and ask him. You will not be there when you reach him. I am separate from him. In this way, slowly the Vedanta has to be digested. We started. We have made a beginning, good beginning. We are continuous. That beginning and continuation is the best gift we give to ourselves. When it is continued, then we get to listen to subtler things. When you contemplate, we understand. When we understand, we are growing. The understanding, when it is practiced, we are evolving. Next, पिंडग्रह विनिर्मुक्तम तथा विश्वम स्थितम परे. See, like in the vayu, the spandana and amoda, like in the akasha, the shunyata, in the same way, pare, in that supreme Brahman, vishwam sthitam, the world is existing. Pinda and graha vinirmuktam. Pinda means the solidity. Graha means the subtlety. Solidity is the form, the subtlety is the name. Without having the name and form independently, still this Jagat is hanging in that Brahman. Tata Vishwam Sthitam Pare. Okay? And this Jagat, Bhava Bhava Grahotsarga Stula Sukshma Chara Chara Vivarjitasya Vayavair Bhaga Brahmana Idrushaha. See, Bhava and Abhava. Again, Bhava is tangible, substantial, seen by the Indriyas. Abhava is Sukshma Rupena in the form of thoughts. Graha means holding or perceiving. Utsarga means living or freeing from perception. Stula, gross. Sukshma, subtle. Chara, acharaha. All these. Vivarjitasya avayavairu. Without all these avayavas being real, bhaga brahmanaha idushaha. They are all on the Brahman only, not real but projected bhaga. That not real but projected is the only thing in Vedanta. Goes on troubling us that we are not able to catch it. Because of the inner, what do you call, attachment to the appearances and our expectation of some desire fulfillment and sukha from them, the inner deeper ego doesn't want to understand or accept that the rupa nama are not real. Therefore, always this most important crucial point remains the not cracked nut only, tough nut to crack. That's why when we become pure in our heart, in the sense vairagi in our heart, in the sense have nothing to gain from this world. In that purest of the heart, that on Paramatma, the Rupanama are projected but not real, is easily acceptable or digested. That's why impure hearts cannot understand. Impure hearted Vyakti cannot accept. Because his heart is impure, because if you accept it, then your impurities in the heart called as desires cannot be fulfilled. गड़बड़ ये है, इसलिए अंतःकरण शुद्धि का आवश्यकता है. Everything we understand, but when it comes to the main thing, that on Brahman the Jagat is Kalpita but not Satya, There we hesitate. Rather, if you really are able to understand it, accept it, and not Satya, therefore drop it, at that very moment the liberation happens. Drop from the heart, drop from the mind. That is where Vedanta. That is why in our morning class, Sadhuna Chatushtaya Sampatti Mahimna Sweshu Dehadishu Api Jivana Bhoga Anavasthavadbhyaha अत्याश्रमिभ्यः परमं पवित्रं प्रोवाच श्वेताश्वतरः ऋषिः. See that, relate that to this, you will be able to get little more deeper idea, clarity. Next, then vivarjitasya bhaga brahmana idrushaah. Idrushaah bhagaah brahmanah avayavaihi vivarjitaah. So they are not an avayava, parts, limbs of Paramatma, nor they are real. Still on Paramatma only they are appearing. All of them. Bhava, Abhava, Graha, Utsarga, Sthula, Sukshma. Okay? Then that is what Bhagavan says here. Sakarasya avabodhaya. For the avabodha, that in the Sakara Rupena, the Brahman alone is there. For the avabodha, understanding, acceptance, experience, that the Sakara also is Brahman alone. Sakara avabodhaya, Sakarasya avabodhaya, Vigneya bhavata adhuna. Adhuna, right now, bhavata, by you, Vigneya, to be known. What is to be known? Ananyaha, so atmanaha tasya. That this entire Jagat is not other than you. That you have to realize. Tena anavayava iva. Then only you will know that Jagat Brahman are not two things, nor the Jagat is the part on the Paramatma. Like east, west, north, south, northeast, northwest, all these eight directions. Are they parts of the space? For example, or for analysis, can the space be made into parts? Then what are these directions? Projections only on the space. So to the earth. Can it be parted or separated? Continentally, country wise? It's one whole thing. But for our purposes, we are projecting on it. In the same way, the whole Jagat Brahmandas are Brahman in another form. They are not created and remaining as separate from the Brahman, nor they have their own independent existence. Waves are appearance of the ocean. They are not created and separate things other than the ocean, nor they are existing independent of ocean. Now, to understand this Brahman as Jagat, we have to understand the Jagat as me. How do we understand Jagat as me? Again, that is the meaning of Tattvamasi Mamaki. That when I understand myself to be Brahman, from that standpoint, when I see the whole Jagat is Brahman, the Jagat is Brahman, I am Brahman, therefore I am Jagat. That's the meaning of Om ityetad aksharamidagam tasyopavyakyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara eva yachanyat trikalatītam tadapyonkara eva. The next one is important. Sarvam hi etat brahma ayam atma brahma. See, sarvam hi etat brahma and ayam atma also brahma. Because I am taking myself to be separate from Brahman, I am seeing the world also to be other than Brahman. When I realize my oneself with Brahman, I realize Jagat also is Brahman. Therefore, Jiva, Jagat, Brahma. They are not three things. Brahman only taken as Jiva, Jagat for play. That's why he says, Sakarasya avabodhaya vigneya, to be known, bhavata, by you, aduna, now, ananyaha swa atmanaha tasya. Tasya paramatmanaha atmanaha ananya. That Paramatma is me only, that I have to realize. When I realize Paramatma, from that standpoint, when I see the Jagat, that also is Paramatma. Tena anavayava iva. What a beautiful word it is. Anavayava iva means the Jiva and the Jagat are not the avayava, the parts separate from the Paramatma, but appearing. That is why the word used by the sage Vashishthaji is iva. Iva. Waves are appearing as if the parts of the ocean. That appearance is as if only, not real. Like when you make a house of 3, 4 halls, bedrooms, in each of the hall and bedroom, the space appears to be the avayava, as if only, because of the walls. That's why hall space is bigger, bedroom space is lesser, bigger, dining hall is this much. These are all, don't you appear, see the spaces as avayava? But are they really parts? No, they are one without second. The total space only. In fact, the total space word also is wrong. Space, that's all. The word total is given to the space because you are calling these as the limited separate spaces, part of those space, the final space. That's why we are calling it as total. Like we call ourselves Hindus, because the others call themselves separate from it. Otherwise, every jiva is Sanatana Dharmi. Everybody is from this Adhisthana Brahman only, no? Every jiva, not only human. See, people talk as Hindu jati, other jati. No, मनुष्य पशु पक्षी वनस्पति सारे उसी ब्रह्म के हैं, उसी एक ही सनातन धर्म है. But if somebody is talking as something, you have to call it as this. So too you are calling it as the hall space, bedroom space. Therefore, outside our house, we are calling it as the total space. There is no total infinite space, there is no small space, nor this small space is a part of the total, nor they are two different. Only the walls are making it appear like this. Because our drishti is on the walls, we are seeing this differentiation. Without destroying the walls, see, remove the conditioning of wallness in your vision, we will see one space. Therefore, without destroying the Rupa Nama, if we can remove the conditionings of Rupa Nama from our heart, we will see one Adhisthana Brahman. That is the meaning of Sakarasya Avabodhaya Vigneya Bhavata Aduna Ananyaha So Atmana Tasya Tena Anavayava Iva Yathastitam Idam Vishwam Nija Bhava Krama Uditam. Nija means self. Bhava means imagination, projection. Krama as we wanted, as it is. Uditam appearing. The self as it is comprehending or feeling, in that way the Vishwam is appearing in it. That self wanting to appear as the Jagat is its Maya Shakti, it is Svecha Shakti. This thought said in Upanishad language as Haso Kamayata Bahusyam Prajayeti Satapotapyata Satapastatva Idagam Sarvam Asujata Tatsushtva Tadevanu Pravishat. In each of the Upanishad, it is said in our understandable language. It is said from our language standpoint. Like if something is created, seen, the process of creation has to be there. Then the desire to create is required. The material to create is required. The creator is required. Isn't it? These are the things which you see when a house is made. Somebody should be there to desire to make the house. Then the material is required. Then the instruments, people involved are required. Then only the house is made. Just expand the example of house to the Brahmanda or the entire universe. Isn't it? Now, to make the house, the designer different, contractor different, laborers different, the material is different. But in the making of Brahmandas or Srishti for the Lord, two things. One, neither required nor existing, or the other things other than him. Therefore, he alone, the Upadana Karana, the entire material. He alone is the desirer. He alone is the architect. He alone is in the engineer. He alone is the laborer. Why? Because he doesn't need and nor anybody there other than him before the creation. Isn't it? In the whole setup, one important thing which is relevant to this topic is the material with which the world is made. That also is Paramatma, called as Upadana Karana. Therefore, the Jagat has to be Paramatma only. We have to respect it. Like a pot maker makes pot, the mud with which pot is made is not him. But in case of Paramatma, it is not like that. The material Sadvastu with which the whole Jagat is made is himself. Therefore, in our Sanatan Dharma, at the time of realizing Brahman, the world is told to be mithya and told to reject it. The same Sanatana Vedanta, the final achievement of Brahma Tattva is proved in terms of accepting the entire world as the Brahman only. Sarvatmya Bhava. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Sarvam hi etat Brahma. सर्वम ब्रह्ममयम में ही ब्रह्मानुभव का प्रूफ होता है. In the sense, at the highest level, there is nothing rejected. What do you reject and where do you reject? Nor accepted. Because it is not other than me. Isn't it? Aheyam anubhadayam. That alone, with its maya, appearing, disappearing. That's it. That's why Brahma we have to understand, Maya we have to understand, Jagat we have to understand to be appearing and disappearing. It is not real, it is mithya at the most. And the goal is the oneness with Brahman. Realization. Okay. Yathastitamidam vishwa nija bhava kramoditam, then riktam na vishwa shabdarthaihi ananyat brahmane sthitam. See? Riktam na vishwa shabda arthaihi. In the Vishwa, all the objects, shapes, forms you are seeing, and the Shabda names you are using, Nariktam, it is not empty, my dear. It is Brahman only. That's why the name of this chapter is Jagat Brahma Varnanam. Riktam na Vishwa Shabdarthaihi. Then what is it? Ananyat Brahmani Sthita. In the Brahman, Ananya Rupena, not other than Brahman, this entire Rupanamatmaka Srushti is Sthitam. See how many things have come in Vedanta. It is Asat that is said. It is Sat that is said. It is Mithya, it is said. Finally, it is Brahman only that is said. Every of those standpoints our Buddhi should grasp. It is absolutely Asat because only Brahman is there. It is Sat because you are seeing and experiencing. It is Mithya because one time it is there, another time it is not there. It is Brahman alone itself because without Brahman, the substratum, they are not there, and it is Brahma Tattva Shakti called Maya only, which is making the world appear. Therefore, it is never apart from Brahman. This sentence is ultimate. Na riktam na vishwa shabdarthaihi ananyat brahmani sthitam. Okay, therefore, take the Jagat as Brahman. Independently talk not about the Jagat. You can't talk. That's why the last concluding line, na tat satyam na cha asatyam. Jagat, by itself, when you talk about it, it is neither satyam nor asatyam. Then what it is? Rajju sarpa brahmo yatha. It is mithya. From the Brahman standpoint, either it is absolutely not there or Brahman alone is there in that form. Finally, Siddhanta Rupena, Jagat is Brahman, we understand. But experientially, first realize the Brahman, that I am that. Then we see everything is one homogeneous thing. There, I am, the Jagat, the Brahman, these variety of perceptions are not there. Like when 10 rivers waters, each river has its own name, origin, come and merge in ocean. From the ocean standpoint, अब इधर कृष्णा रिवर से पानी आया, ये गोदावरी से आया, ये गंगा से आया, ये सरस्वती से आया. Do you see any of the differences again in the oceanic water? It is one homogeneous. So in Brahman, This is Jagat, Jigat, Jiva, Ishvara. These words, these thoughts also get dissolved. These are all at the time of discussion, at the time of understanding, because we are in the misunderstanding of taking the Jiva Jagadishvara not only as real, but we are lost in it, suffering. उस समय हमको ये सारा बता. After reaching Brahman, the Brahman Shabda also is redundant. It's an Anubhuti. The Sadvas Shabda, Chit Shabda, all Shabdas also are transcendent, Anirvachani. This is what is the crux. Beautiful topic it is, friends. In this way, मिथ्यानुभूतितः सत्यम् असत्यं सत्परीक्षितम् परमं कारणं चित्वा तु जीवत्वमिति चेत्यलम्. See, mithya anubhutitaha. When you, by realizing the reality, understand the mithyatva of the jagat, satyam asatyam, that jagat which right now under the influence of ignorance taken as satyam asatyam will be found to be not existing independently, but whenever you say it, sat parirakshitam, it is substantiated by the sadvast. So mithya anubhutitaha means when realizing the Brahman, the jagat is mithya. Therefore at that time which you thought it to be a satyam is found to be a satyam, but appearing no, yeah, sat parirakshitam, sat is the one, sat parikshitam, sat is the one which is supporting it. Paramam karanam chitvat, the chit pure consciousness is paramam karanam. In that only jivatmam iti cha alam, in that supreme all pervading Brahman, wherever the jivatva manifests, that jivatva for its port later on for its samsara, it necessarily projects the world, takes it as real. Necessarily. For samsara, for getting bound, for play sake also, takes it as real. That's what is happening. Like when I am asleep, my jiva bhava is not awakened, no. Therefore, is there I am existing an independent entity with any of my specifications? No, that is why. Nor the Jagat is there, nor the contents of the Jagat are there, nor my Raga Dveshatmaka samsara with contents of the Jagat are there in Nidra. Then when we wake up, first I wake up, an individuality. Immediately I see the Idam Jagat in front of me, spread so vast as a container. In that I see so many contents. Then among those contents, again because of my vasanas, my choices, some of them I say mine, some of them I say not mine. Isn't it? In the Nidra, this is my relative, this is not relative. That concept is not there because these two beings themselves are not there. है ना, ये मेरा बेटा है, ये पड़ोस का बेटा है. Do you have any thought in Nidra? Because ये बेटा वो बेटा है ही नहीं, मैं ही नहीं हूँ. Therefore, the I, the Jiva Bhavas rising is the Hetu for the rising of Jagat and the contents of Jagat. Then, in the among contents, to some we give the definition of good, some good definition of bad. Good ko hum like karte hain, bad ko we hate. And each that is different to each of the jivas as per his own vasanas choices. किसी को चाय अच्छी लगे, कोई कॉफी अच्छी लगे, किसी को मट्ठा अच्छा लगता है सुबह सुबह, ठंडा कर लो पेट को. Which is good there, chai or coffee or mattha? They are not good or bad by themselves. They are existing as per my choice. Isn't it? I have. That choice is my vasana. So that's what is said here. Paramam karanam chitvat jivatvam cha iti alam. See, in that paramam karana paramatma, when the ahamvriti jiva bhava comes, then tatas tathaivanubhavat jivatvam vindati smutam. That's what I said. When the jiva bhava is taken real, then the whole jagat is spashta rupena seen. Then Satyam bhavati asatyam va khe vibhatam idam jagat. So, having so much of discussion is done. In this context, the conclusion is भैया जगत सत्य हो या असत हो, ये पूरा जगत वो ब्रह्म में कल्पित है. About the jagat, there may be discussions, different debates, opinions, controversies, that it is satyam or it is asatyam or it is mithya. But regarding the substratum concern, there is no doubt at all. It is. So, beautiful thought is what? That's why in that mantra, very powerful mantra, realize Brahman, then your questions will go away. Again, that's why Chidyante sarva questions, samshayaha. When? When you see that Brahman. Remember, when we realize Brahman, all doubts, questions get dissolved, not seeking even an answer. When we don't realize Brahman, not even one question can be answered. ब्रह्म को जानो सवाल नहीं उठता, ब्रह्म को नहीं जानो कोई सवाल का उत्तर नहीं होता, जवाब नहीं होता. ओके, सो वी हैव 8 मोर मंत्रास. थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा, इनको हम कल पढ़ते हैं. ओम पूर्णमदः. बोल श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. मेदि सद ब्रह्म सिद्धांत ज्ञान साधना अनुभूति come to us in its true sense as experienced by the rishis munis. May we cross all hurdles, impediments, obstructions in our listenings, in our contemplations, in our understandings, in our doing the due outer inner sadhanas. O Lord Rama, bless us. O Sage Vasishtha, bless us. We are your children. We truly want to know the reality. Even wanting to know the reality. That desire also, you only please strengthen. You have all the tricks and techniques and what are they? The powers of blessings. At this moment, in this Kali Yuga, me with my this own specified Vyaktitva, the sufficient jijnasa to know the truth, sufficient mumukshata to do sadhana, also is not there in me. I recognize it. I am trying my best by studying Shastra. You also bless in your own unique way that this happens soon, that I fully love this Paramatma Tattva, study of Shastras, fully involve only in this required sadhanas all the time. May I not be distracted into anything, O Lord. I have to realize you. Please give me all these clarities, abilities, etc. When you keep on praying, that infinite responds. Like with our Sankalpa, the infinite is responding by presenting itself in the form of the world in front of us and deluding us because of our Vancha Sankalpa. Same we, when we do this Sankalpa, the infinite responds that way. First Sankalpa was binding, this is liberating. Think about it. Thank you. Let us study Ramayana for some time. ओम पूर्णमदः श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. वशिष्ठ भगवान की जय. धन्यवाद.